For AI projects where data is stored in OLTP Cube and OLAP Cube of RDBMS. What database schema document is required to understand RDBMS design and RDBMS database controls for designing AI, ML, and deep learning, deep neural networks? Pradeep K. Suri. Author and researcher. To understand the RDBMS design and database controls for AI, ML, and deep learning projects using OLTP and OLAP cubes, you would typically need comprehensive documentation covering several key aspects. 1. Schema documentation. Entity relationship diagram, ERD visual representation of tables/entities, their attributes, and relationships in the database. Table definitions, detailed descriptions of each table, including column names, data types, constraints, and relationships with other tables. Indexing strategies, documentation on indexes created in the database to optimize query performance. 2. Data dictionary. Description of data elements, definitions and meanings of each data attribute or column used in the database. Metadata, information about the source, creation date, last update, and any transformations applied to the data. 3. Data storage details. Storage architecture, description of how data is stored physically, example file systems, disk layouts, data partitioning. Data compression and encryption, details on any compression or encryption techniques applied to stored data. 4. Data integration and ETL processes. Data sources, information on the sources of data feeding into the OLTP and OLAP cubes. ETL, extract, transform, load, processes, documentation on how data is extracted, transformed, and loaded into the database, including any data cleansing or aggregation steps. 5. Database controls. Access control policies, documentation on who has access to which parts of the database and the permissions granted. Backup and recovery procedures, detailed instructions on how data backups are performed and the steps for data recovery in case of failures. Data quality checks, description of processes or checks to ensure data quality, consistency, and accuracy. 6. Performance monitoring and tuning. Monitoring metrics, explanation of performance metrics tracked for the database, example query execution times, resource utilization. Tuning guidelines, recommendations or guidelines for optimizing database performance. 7. Metadata management for AI/ML/DL. Feature store documentation, information on where and how the relevant features for AI/ML/DL are stored within the database. Model metadata management, details on how metadata about trained models, experiments, and evaluation metrics are stored and managed. Having a comprehensive database schema document helps AI/ML/DL practitioners understand the structure, relationships, data flow, and controls within the RDBMS, enabling them to efficiently access, query, and manipulate data for their AI/ML/DL initiatives. Thank you.